This is going to be worse than Corona, and economic experts now agree on that. This is going to hit our country so hard now that we can write off economic growth and we can take on much, much more debt. That's exactly why they won't do anything right now. They're crashing this economy straight into the wall. And yes, by now it's already reached the region. Just before the elections, 35% of all people in the region are affected, who don't know what to vote for. Or rather, they've gotten to the point where they say, what's the point of even voting anymore? We'll talk about that today and how badly this situation will actually affect us.
It's still icy on this sunny March morning in Swabian Isling. And economically, the region is experiencing more of an autumn than spring feelings. Instead of a new beginning, the crisis is being managed here. For Malerwerk employees in the small town near Stuttgart, this means constant fear for their jobs.
3 out of 4 people in Germany are panicking, afraid that the whole thing will hit us again like it did in 2019 and 2020, only with a single difference, and that is the prices are already at their highest levels. There are some companies here like Rheinmetall that are making billions in profits, or oil companies, and that's the big problem, while other companies are going bankrupt one after another. People often talk about a delicate little plant, which has now been bent over. People out there are sometimes not even able to afford gas to get to work. And our government simply responds to this. I'll quote Soda now. At the moment, we are not in a position to take any measures to relieve the citizens. So when then, please, when will you be able to take any, let me say, measures to relieve these citizens here? So never again. They're just trying to close their eyes and get through before the state elections in Baden-Württemberg and hope that it won't be so bad.
According to a Zweites Deutsches Fernsehen survey, the Greens are catching up and are now tied with the Christian Democratic Union. Both parties currently have 28%.
However, as recent studies show, it's not because people are simply choosing a different party now. It's because, get this, people don't want to go vote anymore. Why not? They're simply tired of it. And here I really have to tell you, please, if you say, oh no, the alternative for Germany is absolutely not for me and I'm absolutely against it, please go and cross out the whole thing to show people out there that you still have a voice. Go and vote for the right thing. If you can somehow, well, let's say, make up for it, always remember the alternative for Germany is still the only party that hasn't yet ruined this country. And yet I can understand that so many people believe the lies, at least partly from the press, which are just being blown out of proportion. And let's be honest, the Greens should really address the Christmas bonus disaster and the tax evasion scandal. That wasn't possible since they were under parliamentary protection. Or with the Christian Democratic Union expose the nepotism which is very widespread there. But they only do that with a single party just to destroy the opposition party.
For the Free Democratic Party and the left, things could get tight, with both parties just barely above the 5% threshold at 5.5%. The Social Democratic Party loses 1 point and stands at 8%, while the Alternative for Germany would come in third place with 1.8%. Of course, changes are still possible in the last few days. According to the survey, 32% of those surveyed still don't know whether they will vote at all and which party they will choose next Sunday.
Sorry, 32% don't know. Please, let's reach out to the people, especially in the region, to tell them it's so important, it's really important to go vote. There's an absolute net contributor in the state equalization system that's now on shaky ground. Once again, a green government that goes ahead and distributes money abroad for green refrigerators, for bike paths in Peru, or other climate ideological projects. We don't have any money for that at the moment, but the Greens don't see that at all, and neither do the left. Meanwhile, the Social Democratic Party really has to worry now about whether they'll even make it into the state parliament. There's really absolute panic breaking out now, especially among the Social Democratic Party, because of course there's fear that any party dropping out of the state parliament could potentially strengthen the far right or even the left, which is no longer present. So the left is out, which means we only have the Greens left, who will inevitably be strengthened as a result.
It's very important that the political framework is adjusted in such a way that some changes can be made in the coming weeks and months, and also to relieve private households.
So you all know him, dear Schwaben, also from my live stream, who is there so often. He sent me something from Unterbürden. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Is there a demonstration against the Greens if you're afraid that there will be another Green minister president, which I'm even more afraid of? Yeah, so it's like the plague and cholera. Then go, if you live in Baden-Württemberg, if you live in that area, please go to the demonstration and show the people out there that you are not willing to simply destroy another major economic location in Germany.
Things are not going well here in Vilstal. There is fear that this once proud automotive location in the commuter belt of Stuttgart could become the Rust Belt of Germany. 7 businesses had to close here in 2025.
We really need to take heart now to bring this whole thing to an end there. That's really how it is. They definitely don't mean well with us. That's what Manuel Hegel himself says. He has absolutely no idea how he's supposed to fix the whole thing. We really should put an absolute end to this ghostly nonsense. That's why, please, folks, show your colors and make it clear that things can't go on like this in Germany. Please go vote. And as I said, if you say no, no, absolutely not. Even with all the incidents, if you don't want to vote for blue, just cross out the whole ballot so you make a statement. The fewer percent the Greens and Christian Democratic Union get, the more they see that the people are standing up against this government. Simply not going to vote is exactly what they want.
It really is as dramatic as it sounds. So we're not just dealing with plant closures. The most prominent example of this is probably Allgäuer, which closed down last year with nearly 800 employees. We're also seeing staff reductions in companies that aren't being closed.
A traditional company, what? And that, I just want to state that as a fact now. At least 70% of all German people have heard of it. That's really the case. Who doesn't know him? The Werner movie where they say, do the Allgäuer. Of course, that will never happen again in Germany. These companies are dead. These companies are not coming back. And the people who are now saying, but I can't vote for the alternative for Germany, that's just not possible. What else could they possibly ruin that the Greens, Christian Democratic Union, and Social Democratic Party haven't already destroyed long ago? But there is a spark of hope that they could do something better. That maybe at some point they would at least start to tackle this whole mess, even if the reforms would probably destroy this party. But I believe that they definitely have good intentions for us and will simply fix many of the financial disaster points. And just remember, this crisis that has now arisen with Iran will hit us just as hard as COVID did in 2019 and 2020. And I don't know if the German citizens are ready to go through all of that again. And just think about it. Yes, when the citizens become rebellious, then the Christian Democratic Union comes and sends out police officers who will beat up old people because they sit on park benches.